Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel SFEDK. This is Aman Kumar. I am a 14-time certified Salesforce developer. Today we are going to talk about data export services in Salesforce and different ways how you can export the data. So recently I was working on a migration project. So I thought you guys would be interested to know how we can do that and which is the best way to use. So let's start with that online service that we have, dataloader.io. So just go to the website dataloader.io and log in with Salesforce. Click on login. If you have a custom domain, you can click the checkbox and put in the domain name. As I'm already logged into the browser, you can see I am logged in into the dataloader.io. Now let's click on new task and export. Here you will have this connection, like which org do you want to export the data from. You can select the object, click next. You can select all fields. Like when you are exporting the data for backup or to migration, we should always select all fields, and we can filter out the fields later, but we should have a backup of all the fields. Okay, click on next and save and run. It will export the data for us. So with dataloader.io, you can export up to 10,000 records per month. That's a free version. In the paid version, you will have a higher limit. So whoever wants to use the free version, they can use access it and directly use the free version up to 10,000 records. So if you have more data than that, then there is a tool called Workbench, which you can use. Let's go for Workbench. Yeah. Let's click on login with Salesforce. So we are logged in and we can, migration, we can click on retrieve. Okay, now let's go to queries and we can select the object from here and we can select all the fields. In this one, I think you need to select the fields using shift control or arrows buttons. I have selected all the fields and now I have option to view the reports as a list or get is a bulk as CSV or bulk XML. So, and you also have the checkbox for excluding deleted and archived reports. If you want to include or exclude those reports, you can do that from here. Let's click on query. And as you can see, okay, so it did not process, failed to process a query, functionality not enabled. Okay, so this is regarding the fields, the component fields like billing address and all those. So we cannot query directly those fields. So let's go back and remove those. So for demo purpose, let's select a few fields right now. And when you're actually doing the migration, you can deselect the address fields, which are compound fields that cannot directly be queried. So let's do this. Let's take this and click on query. We should see, yeah, it was successfully completed and we have 16 reports here. We can download the file from here. Just click on it and it will download the CSV. Okay, and Workbench has a limit of 5 million records. So if you have more than those records, it will not support that. So for that, let's go to data loader tool that we have desktop version of the dataloader.io. Let's go to that and see. Okay, so similarly, we have data loader tool, which is a Salesforce version, and we can easily use it. And for that, let's click on export all. And similarly, select the account object and you can give it a name, or you can select the browse so that where do you want to store the file. Click on save, hit replace, and click on next. Yes. Now here I can select all fields and click on yes. So out of these three options, the data loader tool is my best favorite, but you can use any of the tools, that's fine. But data load supports up to 150 million records and it has a limit of 150 MB per file. So if you are querying a large data, you will not be able to process the data. So if you have more than 150 MB reports, we can use Salesforce provided services that is called data export services. For that, Let's go to setup and click on data export. So this is Salesforce inbuilt services in which you can take a backup, and you have an option to get a weekly backup or a monthly backup. If you are selecting weekly backup, you can do a backup after every 7 days. If you are selecting a monthly, you can do that after every 29 days. You can schedule export that every 7 days backup will be taken, and you will have a zip file ready for you to download. So for demo, let's click on export now. Let it load. Yeah. Okay. So by default, it does not include the images, documents, and it selects all the objects that we have in the org. So if you want to export a few of the objects, you can deselect this one and select any of the object, and you can select custom object that you want to take a backup. If not, if it's for migration or you are taking a backup, I will suggest that you select all, include all data. And using this, you will also be able to export the files as well. So let's click on start. It will generate a zip file for me, which will have multiple maybe CSVs if the data is large. So in my project, I had some issues where I could not work with data loader IO or data loader tool or workbench. So that's why I had to go to the data export. And in my opinion, data export services is the best one to use, and it has a higher limit. It will also take a backup all of your files that you can later import back into the other org. So to use it for any of the org, or to export the services for migration, I would suggest you always go for data export services. It also does not take consideration of the permissions that you have. So if you don't have access to some of the files, it will also take a backup of those files as well. So while migration, it is the best tool that I think. So I will, uh, let's see if the files is downloaded or not. It might take some time depending on the data that we have. So once it's downloaded or exported, they will provide us a zip file. So data export services is the best one. Please write in the comments which tool do you like to use, and if I have missed something, please do write that in comments, and I'll take that feedback. Thank you for listening, and this is Aman Kumar. Thank you, guys.